What up, though? Nigerian Lucas here, episode 2 time of BMF. Hopefully, by now you had a chance to check out episode 1. Check out our review. Left us some love there. Now it's time for us to get into our full-blown spoiler of this episode. I've been kind of trying to ponder on where I wanted to start at. I mean, I think it's easy to go with Lamar and how crazy he is, but I kind of want to go off of what our conversation from last week ended on. And I think it had a lot to do with Meech's psychology, because we talked about a lot of the guilt that was coming in his corner, and obviously T being shot. T survived. No spoiler there, even if it was.
I'm about to say, because I said it. I mean, for you all that were like on the edge of your seat, wondering would he survive? Look, oh man, that's what's gonna make this show so much fun to review.
Yeah,
is that I'm gonna act like I don't know a lot of stuff that I do know.
But I guess, like, you know, because we talked a lot about his guilt, and, you know, based on what happened, him being shot, his parents coming to check him about it, the crew checking him about it, the hood checking him about it. I think we're getting a lot more of, in these first 2 episodes, I think we're getting a lot of, you know, we know what Meech ultimately becomes. You know, a hood and street legend. But I guess this show is trying to exploit the challenges he dealt with mentally, and how the rise to where he got wasn't so easy. Because I guess I was feeling kind of sympathetic for him, and I'm like wondering, like, is that part of what they're trying to do in these first episodes? Lure you in that way?
Of course it is. If I gotta see one more scene with his father basically saying you ain't shit and you the reason that my other boy I'm like, okay, they're gonna lay this on as thick as humanly possible. When for someone like me, it's unnecessary. I actually like it better, and that's weird because if you saw the review of the first episode, so you clearly know what I think about Little Meech's acting abilities from the first episode. This episode, to me, points out he's not the issue. The issue is the show's pacing. When they give him moments where he ain't got to be crazy, when they just give him those quiet moments, he is nailing this. It's when they want him to go a Rick Ross song. BMF. When they want that big Meech to come out, then it throws you off a little bit, because you're like, okay, this is building to that guy. You know he's going to have these moments of reflection. Any scene with him and his mother has been gold.
Yeah.
So far.
Yeah. I got a hot take real quick. Super hot take. I would have been perfectly fine if this was the first episode.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Straight up. I do feel the significance of the first one, but if I didn't know that, I felt like there was enough in this episode to really direct us to where it's going next. And this is just how it is for first season, first
pilot episode. Man, them pilot episodes be tough.
It's basically episode 0.
Yeah.
It's always like that, and you know that's why it's a hard business for people who make series and whatnot, because the idea is that you want to catch the network with the pilot episode, but you may not catch the fans, and then the network reevaluates it like, well, we liked it from whatever high level, you know, technical aspect they was looking at it, but the fans didn't respond the way we thought.
It's literally the same comparison we gave another show for Starz, and I know it's not the show y'all thinking. I told you we're not going to name that show. That's like Voldemort now. That show never gets named here again. It really reminded me of P-Valley's second episode. When I saw it, I said, oh, this feels like the start of the show.
Yeah.
Not the first episode. And here it's the same thing. This one, I think you get more emotional weight behind the characters in this episode than you did in the first. In the first one, they was just going crazy. I didn't know what the hell was going on. Yeah. I didn't know what was going on. It was just skipping and then skipping and then skipping. But here, you get the focus on Meech, T, and the crew, and see their mindset about everything, along with Lamar, who is absolutely insane on this show.
Oh man, I probably shouldn't do this, but Lamar, the streets needed a body. Lamar delivered.
Hold up, Connect. Which body? The dude he beat down?
Beggars can't be choosers. Hey, beggars can't be choosers. Hey, I tell you, man, there's gonna be a lot of people who love that scene because not only is it funny, but goddamn if it ain't so authentic. Because man, if you know somebody who get out, their standards are zero, and there's nothing against the young lady. It's the idea that he said, I don't care where we at, I don't care who's listening, I don't care if you got better for me or different. This is what I want to do, and I'm satisfied. And hey, that's how it be sometimes.
She got a lot of ass. And his homeboy said she got a lot of everything else too. That is like the perfect set. Hey man, ain't nothing. I'm letting y'all know, ain't nothing. If you gone a while without something, and you get a BBW chick, it ain't nothing like it. It is like a welcome home. Like it was. That's what made that scene so funny. Because you see Church Mama in there, she just did eat her burger and fries.
Oh, that's so funny. You brought up the parents too. Russell Hornsby's playing the dad, Charles, and then the mom played by Nicole White, Lucille. Yeah, they're killing it. I feel like, has Russell played a dad in something recently? I'm trying to think.
The Hate You Give?
Yes. It's just so comfortable to see him in that role. I mean, I'm sure he's a father in real life. I don't know him personally, but I think that he gives that good, strong dad essence, especially in this time era of the confliction. Yes. First of all, he's in Detroit, and anybody doesn't know, in Detroit, and even to this day, right now, the Detroit automobile market where he's working for GM has been up and down. And you see the stress that he's dealing with on the job without them even having to talk about it. That's brought home, that translate into the family, that translate into his relationship with his wife, that translate into the energy that he needs within the house. So that's why, and it is very much a custom for Black people, and this is something we just religiously do bad, is that we abandon our kids and say get out, and this is just a response of what he's dealing with, you know. And I think Russell's killing it. And then again, for every good relationship, and this is a couple, Nicole is right there next to him, giving just a good, strong outing in this episode as well too. That you know, while that works as a mother and father, again, it's also adding that emotional value that we care about this family, but more or less they want us to be invested into what Meech is going through. So now we can say that Meech is trying to maintain the business, you know, trying to keep his territory going, trying to keep his crew under wraps, the stuff that you would expect. But then, how much he cares about his brother, how his parents blame him for what his brother goes through, you know, how the streets look at him because of how we'll say the lack of retaliation for his brother, his sister, his little sister, who is this. I mean, this has got to be the most interesting part, is the little sister basically saying like, I'm the baby, which she is, which if anybody, you know, if you have siblings, you know, the baby's the one that gets all the attention. And she's the one like, everything is about you, the older one. And it's completely giving turmoil to the whole family. And we see her give that scene, which I thought was really great too, of her wanting to get out of the car. While it does look silly, little kids do not know how to.
It looks extremely silly.
It does, but
it's supposed to look silly.
Exactly. Because little kids don't understand their feelings, nor does she know what's going on. Her brother's shot. The parents are mad at him. They're like, what is happening? I'm not understanding.
She can't go on her field trip. She cared about that trip, Joe. She like, look here, nigga. I don't give a fuck what's going on with the rest of y'all.
Yeah.
But what you're not going to do is let me go on this field trip. Y'all better come up with some money somehow, some way. Yeah. She was upset about that field trip.
Yeah.
He fucked up. Was she going to jump out the car for the field trip, though?
Yeah,
like, if she had the field trip money, would she have been like, don't even mind that he got shot.
Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. And that's the scene that would have been needed too. And everybody would have been like, what? But yes, it's true. I mean, I always like to let people know, especially adults. It's like, I know you're an adult projecting back to how you were a kid and how responsible you were, but actually really look back at the idiotic mistakes that you made and realize that
mistakes, man.
Yeah.
They used to race cars in traffic.
Yeah. And they still do it.
Like, just to hold up and be like, all right, the light, yellow, run.
Yeah.
In front of a moving car.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yep.
I'm not jumping out of a moving car though. She took that shit to another level. Nope.
Yeah.
I'm a baby. And I can relate on that instance because all my older siblings got way more attention than me. But you know what I'm not doing? Not jumping out of a car.
So with that being said, then I think we need to keep an eye out to where's her mental? Where's her mental going for? If she was able to, or if she wanted to resort to that as a solution in regards to the circumstance, what else might she do going forward? And I think that's going to be interesting. I will say this, folks. The actual Nicole is actually she has some role in it. I saw it in the credits. I can't even remember that quick, but the real Nicole, who the character that was based playing, it's based off of. Thank you. She's involved with the making of this, so there's going to be a little bit extra influence in that character.
Oh, shit. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, right.
He's not going to die.
So, and I think that's why that's important for that scene to be that way, because now we're kind of questioning, like, okay, who would do that? Why would they do that? Whatever you're doing, you're questioning that character's thoughts and actions, which means that keep an eye on them. You never know what may happen next. And yeah, I'm not spoiled. I don't know anything, but like, don't think I'm like projecting something I already know. Just saying, keep an eye.
And even if we did know it, this is a television show. Things can change.
True that. And again, we should premise as we talk about the next character, B. Mickey, that while this is based loosely on some events, there's a lot of creativity in this as well too, because that's part of the show business. And also, I think it's like I said in the first episode, I think it's fun. I think it's fun for them to be like, hey, we can add our little twist to this. And also, I also as a consumer think it's fun to not see things play out exactly how you know it to be. Add some twist into it, Give me some excitement. Give me something different that I wouldn't know to keep me invested. Source material is good, but don't one for one it. Mix it up a little bit.
Have B. Mickey be the person who shot T.
Exactly. Now let's talk about B. Mickey, who is a character who is completely fictional and or a mixture of other characters potentially to be determined. But nonetheless, I said that he feels like the third brother, because when it comes down to the hierarchy in the crew, that's one thing. He steps up and he speaks. And even when everybody was told to step off, he didn't. And then this episode solidified it. 10 years of being friends is essentially being family. And there's a level of trust, there's a level of respect, and I think there is going to be more of B. Mickey being to one.
But it also is a level of line stepping that can happen.
For sure.
Because keep in mind, they're supposed to be teenagers here. Like, in all honesty, how many friends do you have left from your teenage years that you didn't eventually outgrow? Or they didn't understand how to play their position? Because that's what it really looked like in this episode, especially in that little confrontation he had with Meech at the end. And that was him not knowing how to play his role. Because you get Meech gets a gift from a cop, and he said, ruffle his feathers, that's it. You shoot him, I'm fucked. Because you just messed up a connect for me.
Yeah, well, there's a lot to make here. Detective Brian, as we said, could be... Matter of fact, I think Detective Brian and B. Mickey are going to be almost like the alignment of a solar eclipse. At some point, we're going to see them just orbiting around Meech, and different things are going to happen. And this is one of the occurrences where Detective Brian, who, from the first episode, he called out a play about wanting to set up shop at the rec center. Obviously, obviously there were some issues with that. Detective Brian intervenes. He drops off a package. Christmas came early. And yeah, like you said, he was able to ruffle feathers. And that's the agreement that they had. And then B. Mickey thought about it from the other aspects of, you need to do this because everybody's saying you look soft for what you did. Everybody's questioning for what you did. And then we go back to what Meech said earlier in the episode where he says, well, I'm trying to mitigate this without blood being spread because
exactly
it's one after another. And, you know, whether you know the story or whether you don't, but we all know that this is dominoes, folks. One person go down and
it's just again, not even a focus on knowing the story or attempting to piece together the characters. This is just a very interesting storyline moving forward because we see someone who I think as an audience, we can agree, like, you're doing a bit much here, sir. Like, you're inserting yourselves in things that you shouldn't necessarily insert yourself in. And we're waiting for Meech to put him in his place.
See, that's where I don't see coming just yet.
I don't think it's Meech that's going to do it.
Oh, T, 100%
It's going to be T who's going to put him in his place.
100% T, 100% T. And T as seemed to be the token son, the scholar. He's still in school doing his thing. He is the good father. He is now the victim. But he very adamantly said, I love this.
Like, we haven't even heard like Meech declare how much he loves the game, but it's T like, I love this is me. Like, I ain't never giving this up. This is who I am. And that, I think, is a beautiful thing to piece together right there because it shows the difference between them two.
Yeah.
And if you keep on going down this path, it's going to be very interesting how they build what we know to build this empire and how it comes to fruition with the people around them, because we kind of see they respect different people in a crew separately. Like, what's the chick's name? The one that was
Kato.
Kato. Yeah. T has more respect for Kato and her ideas. Meech blames her for everything.
Yep. and let's kind of fill the whole organization out now. So let's start with Meech. He's the leader here. That's undisputable. And T is the leader here, undisputable. And the two of them make decisions amongst each other. And that's just in their own bracket. They're above everybody's pay grade. Yes. But then under it, you have to say Big Mickey's next. And then after that, you have to say Kato's next. Now, Kato, as you said, has ideas that Meech doesn't quite respect. T does. B. Mickey has ideas that we can say Meech don't necessarily not agree with, but is more willing to listen than to dispute. As we see, he had a change of heart quickly in this episode, you know, because it is to be determined was he going to pull the trigger or not. But
he wasn't going to kill that boy. I think we know that at this point. He wasn't going to kill him.
I think we do, but I also think he could have inadvertently did it and act like he meant to, because he definitely was sitting there like talking about ruffing feathers. I think he roughed his own, didn't realize the circumstance that he was in. But it is very safe to say that we can go with the facts here. B. Mickey known him for 10 years. He said you wasn't going to do it, so I did. Okay, then that's what I'm gonna go with.
That's that line stepper right there.
For sure.
You don't make that decision.
Yeah.
And Meech said it best at the beginning. You want to be gung-ho to kill this dude. We don't even know if he's guilty.
Yeah.
Like, it made a good point for him pointing that out. Like, or in the beginning of the episode where they point out the way hood rumors start. All it takes is for Shonda down the block to say something happened. When she tell her homegirls tell her man tell his homeboys, no matter what's fake or false, everyone's going to believe that story at that point.
Yes, and we have got to remember the two biggest points to this episode, but I want to bring up one other thing really quick. We're talking about the structure here. Now, the other interesting thing, as I said about in the structure, is now we got Big Mickey, who is super interested in Kato. And
I thought I saw that coming. Yeah.
And we know how this works, folks. Whenever there's a love interest, what should I say? Logic and
I'm hoping Kato do
motivation,
because she said the right thing.
Oh, 100%, 100%.
I can't fuck nobody in a crew. I'm a girl. Like, nah.
And we said that last week. We said that she is a girl in an all guy organization, and she is respected. She's not about to mess this up. Sure enough, she almost verbatimly said that this episode.
Yep.
And it's very true. That's not going to stop a dude thirsting over her, though.
And that's going to be the problem.
Yes, it will. Because that, look at the hierarchy now. You have an idea from her that B. Mickey's going to back up, that T already was going to agree with, and this is not going to make Meech feel good. This is the 3 versus 1 with the world against him. So expect things to be a little different going forward, especially when T's back in action, or T could be calling plays from the hospital. But also, let's also remember here too, is that Kato also knowing information on the streets before B. Mickey did about the whole J-Mo putting a hit out on T. She is...
I just said it. What happens? It will always travel through women first. Always. Hood rumors always travel through women first.
Yeah, a lot of pillow talking.
That she would know what's going on first.
A lot of pillow talking.
That's not surprising. But again, it's going to be extremely interesting to see how this plays out.
Yeah.
Because what happens when she has to check him?
That's it. That's it. And I don't know what episode just yet, but I'm definitely thinking, based on how this shows are mostly structured, episodes 5, 6, or 7, somewhere around that. And I'm feeling super confident around like the conclusion of 6. We're seeing a whole dynamic change. But as this episode is titled Rumors, this rumor all started with none other than the crazy Lamar himself, because Lamar has a lot of goals here, and they're going to soon to be narrowed down. But we know he wants to check on his daughter by any means necessary, walking up on the school playground.
He wants to check on this little girl who he has claimed as his daughter. It's not his daughter. Boy, that ain't a hood story to the T.
Oh, man.
The mama even like, nigga, that's not your child. Oh, man.
That was funny. When she pulled up in the Trans Am, I was like, oh, boy. Or the Camaro. I was like, oh, boy. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. Also, that's the same car that Mississippi drives as well, too, if you didn't know. I swear we're going no more comparisons after next week's episode, folks.
You said that.
But yeah. And essentially, while he's coming off as a nut, which he is, we all know that he has a goal, and his goal is to get back where he left off at. So he had to plant the idea that it was J-Mo, because that's who's at the top of the totem pole, who also is on top of some of his soldiers on top of his blocks. So this is a super good chess move done here that no one even suspects him except for the person with one eye in the hospital. Now, that's right. That's when I started getting real interested in all of this now. Cause I'm like, T may be down, but he not out. And he gonna keep going to school, because he gonna be able to put these things together.
Hey, he like, nah, but we did this. Like, why wouldn't it be him?
Yeah.
He will probably be moving forward with the voice of logic on the show.
Yeah.
Like, we thinking of all these other people, when the clear person it probably is right in front of us. This crazy nigga who just got out of prison, you up here doing his baby mama.
Yeah.
And reimbursed him. No, yes, he shot me.
And the actor who plays him, Eric Kofi Abrifa, I've seen him in other things, but I think this is going to be obviously a show that we're invested in, and I'm definitely going to see how his performances go forward. I mean, if his job is just to be crazy, then that should be it should be a walk in the park. But if you can kind of add the meticulous aspect to it and be crazy, but still kind of be logical, because he's a street dude. He is a corner boy, and he did his time. And that, to be able to give that type of performance, I'm sure there's a lot of references he can look left and right. I mean, I don't know. This could be this guy, Meech, that he could just,
And just the angles that he's trying to play here. He goes from being offered the opportunity to join their crew to him like, nah, look, I ain't joining y'all crew. To then this one coming back to them like, is that offer still available?
Yeah. And you think, and that's interesting because, like, we understand, like when they talked about it, and it's a quick throwaway scene, but when they talked about how the territories were split up in I'm gonna say Detroit in the city, whatever. It explained to you how he ran everything, and if he had that much power, and he ended up going to a psych ward and whatever, and he comes out released from a psych ward, right? At doing time, and he comes out. And he just wants to be a soldier, you're an idiot for 1 minute. For 1 minute to think like, all right, we'll use him. Yeah, it's cool. But, this is why dividing them from inside is going to be super dope. I can't wait to see how that plays out.
Clearly he did it already because he's already managed to help. He's managed to have them help him kill off the competition. So clearly the plan is working so far.
Yep. Yeah. So, that's why it was important for them when they show all the, different territories in Michigan. And it was important that you understood that, like, he had, like they said, he ran this.
He was the man. He was the man. And had a great lawyer and ended up in a psych ward instead of prison. Now that he's out, of course he's going to try to build his stuff back up again.
Yeah.
I think it was great, the scenes with him and his man, when he's asking, like, well, what happened? He's like, man, I held it down for as long as I could.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it shows just how treacherous street life can be.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, he technically was only gone for 4 years. Imagine being the man and coming back somewhere within 4 years, which is not a long time frame, and you're a nobody.
Yeah.
Like, man, that would eat at you, because at that point you gotta prove yourself and you're gonna do whatever it takes to get that spot back.
I like how this show is going to do something that's going to bait a lot of viewers here. This is why we're here to do the job, folks, with you. I love how this show very blatantly said he was the man, and I love how they snuck it in to the point that you could quickly ignore it and think he's a nobody, so that you see in this series, seeing him build up to who he already was. And you're going to be like, man, I thought he was just crazy. I thought he was just the shooter. I thought whatever. And you're going to start seeing.
They told y'all niggas already. Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years.
Yep. Big facts. Big facts. The other thing I kind of want to talk about here is when Meech went to holler at Female. And he, this is part of the whole tactic. Who also, he was in Snowfall. He played Ray Ray. He's supposed to be the most loyal to the crew. And like, based on how this episode played out, is not how we're going about the subject here. Because he went to see him first before J-Mo was gone. Now J-Mo's gone. Female, I'm sorry, but if you didn't see this, then you just go back and watch the scene. He clearly was interested. And once somebody walked up on it, he definitely was faking. Like, oh, yeah, step off Meech, etc. Yeah. Mm-hmm. He's supposed to be the most loyal. And Meech needs some soldiers. And he said he wants loyal soldiers that's going to do what he needs them to do and hold down the block. I'm sorry, Female's a free agent right now.
Hey.
And I think that's why that meeting happened in the way it did, because I don't think this plays towards the part of saying he looks soft here. I think there's a strategy, because I think, as much as we're talking about Meech and not giving him credit in anything here, he is the business mind of this. He is understanding where to move the product, when operations need to stop and go, which in this case, it never stopped. So he just kept saying, I need y'all to do what I need y'all to do. I don't care what y'all doing. I'm paying y'all. Do what you have to do. While he, does all the other running around trying to find retaliation for his brother. But the business is still going, which means the cash is still going, which means that the options to do what he needs to do beyond that is limitless. And as that being said, he has money coming in, and his only competition was J-Mo, who's gone. He can hire some new employees, and I think we're going to see Flamel, who was, like I said, interested. But the question is, he's loyal. He said he is the most loyal. That is what we're expecting to see now. What does that mean going forward? Because if he's the most loyal and second in line, B. Mickey is his second in line, and he brings him over,
Hey, it's a beautiful saying for that, which is the price today ain't the same price it was yesterday. Because if you bring someone that you feel is that loyal over, and it's a kind of reflection of what they say in the art of war, like you never make your closest friend your second in command, because that would be the first person to turn against you. Yeah. You normally flip an enemy and make him your second, because he will always be loyal to you because you gave him that opportunity.
Yep.
If he gives out that opportunity, I think B. Mickey falls down the peg, and I don't think he's going to be receptive of that.
Yeah, not at all. Or maybe B. Mickey doesn't, and Kato does, and maybe she's not too happy of that. Because
Kato, I think Kato is closer to being a foot soldier than B. Mickey is.
Yeah.
B. Mickey feels like he is entitled to a position, I think.
Big facts.
Just the way he moves around in this show, he seems like he's entitled to a position. Kato, she wants an opportunity to prove herself. That's why she was so worried when they went to, I'm going to call it the stash house, which was actually a crack house that an actual crackhead had as his house.
Which is my house.
And we see her reaction to when that happened, which clearly isn't her fault. But she was terrified of, like, maybe they'll get rid of me. Maybe they'll replace me. Maybe he'll kill me. Things of that nature. Yeah. That's the way a foot soldier responds.
Yep.
Be Mickey like, nah, we'll be fine. Somebody who feels a little bit more entitled to respond in that way.
Yep. Facts. So I'm trying to think. Anything else we need to cover here? You said nah?
Kato dancing. That's your cheapest killer. Like, look, I was like, oh, okay. I see why he's enamored with you now.
Get the vodka. Maybe I'll keep you company for a while.
See what I mean? It's all a setup. Set up for blue balls. No. Take your ass out of here. I don't want no parts of you. But no, I think the only thing left is really to find out what happens next. I think this is a great rebound episode from the first episode, which I did not like. I'm just not going to say I did not like that first episode. But this was a really good rebound from that first episode. And this gives you way more promise to the direction that the series is going to go to.
Yep. I agree. Well, folks, as we do each and every week, jump in the comments. Let us know your thoughts about episode 2. And as always, we'll be back next week for episode 3, which is entitled Love All, Trust Few. We'll see what that means. We'll see what's to come of that. But yes, definitely jump in the comments, talk, converse with us, and let us know your thoughts, prediction. I don't know what I was about to say.
I'm about to say, don't listen. You're not going to converse with us. Conversate with us in these comments, Joe.
Whatever. Do what you do. But we'll be down there to make sure we give you responses to our thoughts. And of course, we want to hear your thoughts and prediction and all that good stuff. So yeah, that'll do it this week, folks. And as always, we'll be back each and every week with our reviews of BMF.